Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. Maybe I should start this episode again by singing We are top of the league. We are top of the league, right? Because that seems to be a charm. We seem to be doing well as long as I keep singing in my gruff, worst voice ever. But we are really top of the league after this game week 2, which is a nice thing to do. And even though Tottenham won uglily, and I'm like really sad about that, but our win was ugly too, and we did do a really good victory against Fulham. Before we start with other things, I have to introduce the folks who are going to talk with me. Deepak back with me. Hi, Deepak.
Hello.
Eben coming back after a long time. He was at the stadium this time, so we'll have more questions about the stadium, how the experience was and stuff like that. And did you pass on the, that I love Leah Williamson, just set up that next time when you're in stadium, when you're next door, Eben. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Good to be back.
Good to be back. Yeah. So for all the viewers, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment in. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Reach out to us in social media, and we like hearing from you. We are trying to make it as much as possible, like be an interacting one, and that's why we added the new section about interviewing fans from the pub and stuff like that. So do support us. With that out of the way, Evan, you were at the stadium, so I'll start with you. How did it feel after the win? Like, what is the reaction in the stadium for you personally and in the stadium?
I think, yes, like you mentioned earlier in your intro, it was an ugly win. It was not probably the smoothest win we got. But I think these kind of wins matter a lot. And the stadium was completely buzzing. So you won't believe the connect between the fans and the players is so good now. Right after we conceded the mistake, that's when the crowd became really, really active, pushing on the team. And after the victory, obviously, I think everybody was over the moon, happy. And you won't believe, in the stadium, on the speaker systems, they were playing the Tequila song right after the game.
Yes.
So everything is positive. Everything was positive. People were happy. 2 years back, probably from the same position, we would have lost. People would have been demoralized and gone. But I think things are different now. Let's hope this continues.
Deepak, on the win though, right? Like, it's 3 points at the end of the day. We are top of the league and all those things. But is it something that we have to reconsider, considering this is Fulham, right? Like, Fulham must be in a lot of people's mind to be the team that would go down.
Yes, yeah.
So having a performance like this against Fulham, especially on a day when City did 4 against Crystal Palace, and Liverpool did 9 against Bournemouth.
Yeah, it's Fulham has started the season well, right? It's not like that they have been like a pushovers. So they have started well. They were unbeaten, right?
Yeah.
If they had won against, they would have been in top 4. I think that's what the commentator said. I remember him saying. So it's a good win. Like previous podcast, we said there is no easy games in Premier League. Even let's say like Bournemouth last 9-0, they can turn up and win 1-0 again the next week itself. So even if though, like, I remember like they shared couple of tweets, some commentators saying it's just Fulham. They're celebrating that like they won.
Celebration police. Yep.
Yeah. It's so
shut the fuck up, you celebration police. I hate you and I don't care about you, but I will yell at you.
Yeah, so even though it's Fulham and they haven't won against us at home, every record can be broken. They were just close to be broken. So it's good that we won, even though we didn't play good. The first half we played well, not like that we didn't like create chances or anything. The final third wasn't good, and it was good to see the team pushed up, and obviously we scored the yeah, both the goals weren't that great. One was just slight deflection, the other one was just a regular corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, both ugly goals. But yeah, obviously, like you said, the win was ugly, and 3 points matters.
But on the
Exactly.
on that note, Deepak, I'll stay with you regarding the when the starting 11 came out, right? Because no one had expected Partey and Zinchenko be unavailable. Like when it came out, it was just a lot of shock,
Yeah.
right? But looking back at it, looking back at the starting 11 and how the game went, do you feel that we felt we missed them both in the game?
Yes, definitely. For sure, we missed Partey. For sure, 100%. I think Elneny is it's decent. You can see from the game he played. He's decent enough to control the game. But to take it to the next level, you need Partey.
But is that, I mean, for me, that's a cause of concern, right? Like, I mean, we are setting
Yeah.
unreal expectations on a player. It's like literally asking, like, why is Messi not defending? Right? Like, no, he is not that player. Elneny is not that player. He had close to like 90% pass ratio or something. That's like if he's like doing like I think Arun mentioned it in the other podcast, like where he mentioned like out of 50 passes, if 48 passes are going to be successful, that's a pretty good player to have in your team.
No, it's not. If you're a midfielder player, you should your passes should be progressive. If you just pass it to the next player like 5 yards, your all the 50 passes is just 5 yard passes. Obviously, you're going to end up with 98% of passing rate. The
See,
like previously, like
But
Saliba
but why
said
is
he
that a
had
problem?
100.
Like why is
it's
that a
not a
problem?
problem. It's not a problem. It depends on your expectations. See, you expect certain things from El Neni, which he is good at. But like Deepak said, he did what he could do. But what we missed in the game, and I completely agree, we did miss Party a lot because we had a lot of sideways passing. Uh, the what do you say, taking the ball forward, that's where we missed Party the most.
Yeah, that is what we expect from that position, right? The
Yeah,
player who plays in that position. Partey, if you see when Partey plays, our progression towards the goal, the opposition
it's
goal is
very good.
pretty fast.
Yeah,
It's we like the transition of the game is very good. But when we play Elneny, he slows the game down. It's nothing wrong. Like you said, it will again go back to the donut of sadness thing only.
But
So
that didn't
that's
happen in this game, right? Like we
yeah,
did
that
create a
that
lot of
was
chances.
because Odegaard was too good in this game. He made sure that didn't happen. If Odegaard had an off game, for sure we wouldn't have won this game because he
yeah.
dropped deep. He probably saw Elneny doesn't have the capability to make those power passes so that he can stay up front and make the difference there. Odegaard started dropping deep. Probably what Arteta might have said or something, but he did like most of the work from the midfield, which was good to see.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm 100% sure if we don't sign any midfielder, we will struggle.
Hmm. That's a topic that we'll get back. But Eben, on the other side of things, right? Like Zinchenko not being there and Tierney being his thing. For the first 20 minutes, what I noticed was Tierney tried to play what Zinchenko did. Like he was cut, like, tucking into the midfield and trying to do that. But after 30 minutes, the thing kind of flipped. Shaka started doing that and Tierney going back to what he does in the wings.
See,
Did you see that?
uh, I didn't notice it that much, but for me, obviously, it was different with Zinchenko not being there. The skill set of Zinchenko and Tierney is different. Tierney is a proper traditional left back. He's not an inverted left back or even a midfielder turned left back who had the skill set to do what Zinchenko was doing. So I think we played differently as compared to if Zinchenko was there. We tried to do a lot of things, but obviously Tierney's skill sets are not same as Zinchenko. And if you noticed, I think maybe that is why I think most of our, I think first half or most of the game, our attacks came towards the right. rather than from the left. In fact, my crowd was screaming at times. There's so many times where Martinelli was free with a lot of space, and we were hoping somebody switched the flank and gave the ball to him. But I think there was a differences, but I wouldn't say we were still okay. Tierney is a top class left back, so I don't think there will be cases where Tierney will be playing instead of Zinchenko. I don't think that's a problem.
But defensively, Eben, right? Like, I mean, first half, we know that we bossed and everything. But the first goal was conceded by us. And like all we talked about in the preview, it was like Mitrovic, right? I blame both of them a little bit. Like the ball from Saka was too much. You shouldn't be playing cross your goalpost pass in your defensive third, is what I feel. And I think that ball was not great from Saka in the first place. And even though that ball was not great, and there's equal responsibility for Gabriel to overcomplicate that. He took 3 touches before he was trying to get the ball red. So that was too much touches to do in your own box.
For me, I don't blame Saka at all. See, we are a team who play from the back. We will pass from the back. That's how we play. So across the back, that's how we start every game. That's how most of our passes are also around there. So I don't see a problem in the Saka's pass because Gabriel still had quite a lot of time to take the ball away. I did hear, I think in the post match, somebody was talking about positioning of Tierney to receive the ball from Gabriel after he got the ball or something. But for me, it was simple. Gabriel had the time. He didn't make the pass or clear the ball, and Mitrovic just took the ball, overpowered him, and scored. It was a mistake, simple as that, from Gabriel for me.
But isn't that worrying? Because in the 4 games we played, we conceded what, 3
We
goals, 4
conceded
goals?
four goals. 2 goals are, I think, from
Mistakes.
mistakes.
So
Yeah,
that's
4
a
goals.
little bit, yeah, that's a little bit worrying for me, isn't it, Ivan?
I didn't worry too much. See, we are used to making defensive mistakes. As far as we are winning, I'm not worried at the moment. More
That's
importantly, the fact that we conceded and then I think everybody pushed on, and we actually, the what do you say, uh, the impact or the change in attitude which happened after we conceded. That's what you like to see, right?
But Deepak, you have been saying for a long time that Gabriel and Saliba might not be the defensive pair. Do
Yeah,
you think this kind of like pushes it a little bit? Especially like you see that Katie and Tomiyasu both are fit. So is it time to
yeah,
bring Ben White into the center defense and then taking Gabriel out?
for sure. I've been saying this
I'm
since
up
the
for that also. In one of our earlier pods, I had also rooted for the Saliba White combination, except for the left-footed problem.
yeah, that is like some stupid myth which Arteta believes in, like left-right combination. I've been saying this for a long time. Like Gabriel is good, but he's not good enough. That's all it is.
But he scored the goal that
It
won
doesn't
us the
matter.
game.
A defender, as you're supposed, you won't expect your defenders to score in all 38 matches.
He scored 5 goals last season, more
Yes.
than Lacazette.
He's got a knack of scoring.
Anyone could have scored more than Lacazette. You could have scored more than Lacazette. I could have scored more than Lacazette for sure. That's like, see, like I do like Gabriel. He's good, but see, if you want to take your team to the next level, you have to make those hard decisions. Saliba has started well, and he is proving to be that calmer presence out of Gabriel and Saliba. If even in the first half, Gabriel made a mistake where he was dallying too much on the ball. Mitrovic was pretty close to snatching the ball away from him. So he committed a mistake in the first half, and he did the same mistake again, which he got punished. He had almost 90 minutes to clear the ball. Like it's not a mistake at all from Saka.
Yeah.
Like Gabriel made a mistake, and of course, yeah, he got lucky. Like I said, he better score a goal in the corner. I sent a message in the
Yes,
group,
to redeem
which he
himself,
did,
and he
of
did
course.
redeem himself.
So,
But
yeah,
I loved that after the goal, Odegaard went to Gabriel and he was like, after the goal that Odegaard scored, he went to Gabriel and is like, yeah, now that we are level, go ahead, let's do something better. And I was like, yes, that's my captain. But on Saka though, right? Like I'm having a little bit of worry about Saka in this season. I feel like he's not himself. It might be that we have set a standard high. People would say, "Oh, we have set standard high for Saka and stuff." But that's how it is, right? Like when you have a player who's growing, who is slated to become the next big thing. Of course, every season we need to see an improvement on him. He played great season last season for Arsenal. So this season, I want him to do better, and I don't see him doing better this season.
The
I
what?
wouldn't be too worried.
Remove Ben White, take him out of right back, bring Tomiyasu in. Simple as that. Saka will become better. Ben White doesn't give enough support to Saka. Saka is left all alone to handle 2 or 3 defenders. So you take him out like Ben White, put him in centre back, remove Gabriel, bring Tomiyasu in. You will see this old Saka back. He didn't play bad this game as well. He was good. He was the one who took all the defenders out and played the pass to Odegaard. And we know like Saka is not a good finisher, which he has to improve, obviously. He has never been a good finisher on one, which he obviously missed this game as well. That is the thing which Arteta expects out of Saka, right? Take to the next level. That's what Arteta said as well. He expects Saka to go to the next level. So for that, Arteta has to provide that environment. Now Saka is pretty much restricted. Every defender knows that he's the main man for
Yeah, I saw
Arsenal.
like 3 players on him every time he had a
Every
ball.
time when like Saka got the ball, they were like the left back of Fulham and they were the midfielder as well as the winger. So you can't expect, even like if you put he's not at the level of Messi, obviously, to come out of that. So yeah, I wouldn't blame Saka. He would going to improve. I wouldn't worry about it.
I think you should not worry now. He's doing well. He's not doing bad. Like Deepak said, he's got more players marking him. Yeah, his finishing he needs to improve. There's no doubt in that. But I think if he scores a couple of goals, I think he'll
Yeah.
get much more confidence and you'll see a slightly different Saka probably.
Hmm. But on that front three, right? I mean, I was expecting one of the front three to score, and it is unfortunate. Like Jesus had a couple of chances. Martinelli had a couple of chances. It didn't really go in. But just as a jinx, like whatever I said in the preview or before me and Deepak were talking in the review of the last game, I was mentioning about how good Martinelli's corner has been even. But this game, it was really bad. Most of it went to.
I think the only good corner was the one we scored from.
Yes, everything was straight to Leno. I was feeling so bad, and there was in the pub takeover, like the reaction videos that we shared. People are mentioning about how we should have held on to Leno. We know that he's going to be sold. Fulham needed him, and they are paying like peanuts for him. We should have been like, yeah, you can get him after our game. Would that have been possible, Eben?
Why would you do that?
He had an amazing game.
Oh,
If
so
not
what?
for him, if
See,
not for him, we would have had 3 goals.
one question. Has he been an ultimate professional while playing for your club?
Oh,
Yes
definitely.
or no? Yes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Being a World Cup year, what does he need? He is not our number one. Being a
No.
World Cup year, what does he need? He needs to play to get into the German national team. So I think
Yes.
he's done right by the club, even when he was pushed out as the number one. He's been the ultimate professional. So I think it was a mutual decision, and I think we took the right decision. It was right to send him out. And we don't have to, I think one player doesn't impact. I think we are building something here. Obviously, I think hopefully in the further years, further seasons, we'll get an improvement in our goalkeeping even further because Ramsdale is not a finished product, definitely. But I think we did right by him, and he's doing what he does. He's an excellent shot stopper. That's what he was doing.
But did you guys have Deepak and Eben, both of you guys, did you have that fear factor in you when he hit Mitrovic in the face with the ball? This is the second game he's seating an opponent player or giving away the ball when he's trying to distribute.
Fair enough. I think I won't blame Ramsdale. This game, he didn't make any mistakes for me. One ball hit Mitrovic, fine, but otherwise he didn't make any of his usual mistakes.
Fine for you, not fine for Mitrovic.
Not fine for Mitrovic. That happens in the game.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, yeah, he did. Like Eben said, like he didn't make any glaring mistakes. It's just like
But he did make mistakes. Come on, Deepak. I want that
He didn't
answer.
make any mistakes, but like
I disagree. He didn't make any mistakes this game.
he didn't
He
make
made
any
two good
mistakes.
saves. He was assured at the
Yeah.
back.
Even like Leno, you said had an amazing game. No, he had a good game. Every save which he made is like an expected save. Nothing like out of the world saves. Our finishing was poor. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
True. That's true. But on that, like, front three, I just want to talk about the substitution side of it, right? Like, I mean, when Nketiah came in, the game kind of like changed a little bit. He was causing more trouble. Are you guys seeing that? Like, Eben, are you seeing that Nketiah is pushing now for a starting spot?
I think yes.
No.
I think no. I think yes.
Fight.
I completely. I think he brought in a different level of dynamism. Obviously, Jesus is Jesus, but I think this game he was not as effective as the previous games. But when Nketiah came and being a goal down, bringing him on meant he had to push through, and he was good. Obviously, he could have finished few chances, but I think he did very good for the whole team moving forward. And I think considering now, I think from now on we are going to have at least couple of games every week, right?
Yep.
I think we've got a midweek Premier League game coming in. We've got Europa League starting. So I think from now on we'll have quite a lot of games. And I would hope we'll start Nketiah in some of those games.
But Deepak, Nketiah, and also please touch upon like the fact that we didn't bring on Smith Rowe at all. We made only 3 substitutions. Why are we so why are we not using 5 substitutions? Of the 4 games, we have used 5 substitutions in only one game. I know I'm sounding like nitpicking every small thing, but I am feeling like why are we not using the 5 substitutions?
5 substitutions is not needed unless you want to make it like injuries.
Exactly.
See, coming into a game which is so fast, a substitute player needs some time to get up to the speed of the game. You cannot expect every player to come and get up to the speed. That's the mistake Fulham did. They replaced their right back who was really good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Then Martinelli started having a field game against the player who they brought in. That could have been the same case with if you had brought in Smith Rowe or anyone, like let's say people have been saying why we aren't bringing Vieira or something. They are not up to the speed of the game. The game was we were chasing it and the players who were on the pitch were doing good. So you don't have to make all this wholesome changes of like half the team is going to like come in. So I don't think so the change was required. But yeah, like of course, like you can nitpick, yeah, why we are bringing Smith Rowe, all these players.
That's what I do. That's the whole point of me being here.
Substitutions are there, but you don't have to necessarily make them. So I
Yeah.
think we did the right substitutions yesterday.
Yeah, Nketiah was good, like apart from obviously finishing, which is what he's expected to do. Yeah, but yeah,
the most
looks like we are
backhanded
doing-
compliment ever, right? Like he was good except what he was supposed to do. He was good in everything else except what he was supposed to do.
looks like
Awesome.
we are going to go with 4-4-2 if we are chasing the games. So yeah, which is good to see actually. Like some kind of change where like a
Hey,
plan B or
we
thing.
as a fans, we used to complain that there was no plan B.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, which is good to see, right?
Yeah. But one last thing, Eben, right? Like with this game, we kind of like we are getting to the end of all this like easier games. Like we do have Aston Villa, which is easier just because of it's managed by Steven Gerrard, who seems to be a very bad manager, at least at this point. But we are getting to the point where we are like, okay, this is going to get difficult from now on. How's the feeling, not just within you, but with the fan base and like especially the stadium and everything? How's the feeling about the process where we are, or the progression where we are? Are we just in a high because of this, how the season has started, or are we really seeing progress?
I think we are seeing progress, and I think the all or nothing probably helped a little bit. So I think with that and the start we've had, the signings we've had, the transfer season we had, the start we had, the preseason we had, the start we had, as well as the documentary, all combined together, I think people are. I know there are still a lot of skeptical folks. There's no doubt in that. I'm not one of them. So I think people are seeing a process. People are seeing a process. I think over the last 3 years, things have changed a lot. The team has changed a lot. I think we are playing well. Like the first half, even though we didn't score, and Fulham were sitting back, but we had complete possession. We were playing very well. Odegaard was amazing. His balls were just too good. And I think there was a time maybe 3 years back where we couldn't even pass the ball properly.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a process. Something is happening. We are improving. We are definitely not a finished product. A long way to go. But yeah, we are getting there. And the fans are, I think, optimistic. So I stayed longer after the game for the around 30, 45 minutes outside the stadium. The fans are all there, full time chanting, starting from Zinchenko, Tequila to for everyone. And obviously, we are top of the league. We are top of the league. So I think there's a lot of positivity. But like you said, the games are going to get tougher. And there'll be games like this where we'll have to win ugly, games where we are comfortable. We will lose few as well. But yeah, let's see where we get to.
Man of the match, Eben. Man of the match. Who's the man
Oh,
of the match?
no doubt in that. It was Martin Odegaard for sure. He was just sublime. In fact, there was one of the balls, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a ball he played from the left to Jesus, and Jesus puts it down for Saka, and Saka tries to take it from his right foot. That ball was amazing out of nowhere. Then there were a few balls to Nketiah as well. His vision, his passing, everything was too good. And he even won back position a few times, nicking the ball off the players.
He was very good at that. He was very good at taking the ball off players' feet. Deepak, Odegaard?
Yeah, no doubt. There was no one even remotely close to like man of the match. It's Odegaard.
Okay, so Deepak, on the same question what I was asking Eben, right? Like, so are we seeing progress or are we just riding a high?
No, definitely we have progressed, right? Like if you mean like last season we lost 3 games. We have won 4 games. That itself is a progress.
No,
But
that is a very low standard to keep, right? I mean, we have to see progress as like, oh, not the last season's first, like how we started versus this season, how we started, because it might not be the same, right? Like how we finished last season might not be how we finished this season, or how we had a middle good run of last season might not be what we have. But what I meant was like, okay, last season when it finished, from that point to now, are we seeing a progress?
yeah, definitely we are seeing the progress. How we have dominated the games. Like the 4 games we have completely dominated the opposition except for Crystal Palace maybe. Rest of the 3 games we have completely dominated, which actually we are supposed to do, supposedly weaker teams. But previous seasons we struggled against these teams like Southampton and who else? I think one more game which we lost. Due to that, we lost the top 4, right?
Yeah,
So
Everton, Newcastle, yes.
so which is good to see actually. We are we still might struggle against top 6 teams like City and Liverpool. And yeah, it's better to win these games which you are supposed to win and which can take us closer to top 4.
Awesome. So this is going to be like 2 parts series. Like this is the part 1 where we are doing the review of the previous game. Thanks guys for joining in.
Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of this episode. The boys unfortunately have dumped me to do the recordings that leave along. But I've got an exciting guest with me, and it's George from the Villa podcast. Hey George, how going?
Hey, how you doing, mate? I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. No, I mean, I feel a bit lonely because usually we have our gang and then we talk all the things together. But unfortunately, everyone is struck with time, so they've asked me to do the recording. So you got to bear with me for that.
No worries.
Yeah. So George, so I'll check with you first. Like, how is the general mood around the club and the fans at Villa Park?
Yeah, well, it's been better, to be honest with you. The start of the season's really not been what we all kind of hoped for. We look very disjointed, and we've already lost 3 out of the 4 games. Yesterday struggling to sort of break down West Ham, who were also sort of had a bad start to the season. And it was booed off at full time, which is the first time that's happened since Gerrard's been in charge. So I'd say the mood's pretty negative right now.
I could see that as well, because West Ham, as you said, they had a horrible start to the season. No one really expected them to start that bad, but still, for having to play away at Villa and then probably go on to win the game is something which was quite a surprise, because I expected Villa to at least mount a challenge, if I'm meant to say, because I did watch some of the highlights of the game. So there wasn't any big of a threat that you could see. Is it some sort of a worrying sign as such, or is it some, you could just call it a blip?
Well, I don't know. I was at the game yesterday, and all the people that I was sat around, we were all aware of the fact that West Ham hadn't scored a goal yet and had no points, and we all turned around and said, today they will do both. They'll probably score, and they'll probably get something out of the game, which they obviously did. As for, I'm not sure whether it's a blip or not. I'm not too sure, because even the back end of last season, we finished very badly. I think going now from about March, April time, we're now 3 wins in the last 15 games. We have a lot. I think there's 9 defeats in there as well. So no, all is not well at the club at the moment.
Yeah. And the man behind things, Gerrard, obviously, he came with a lot of huge and pomp, and he was looked at, the person who could actually take this Villa team to the next level, taking on from Dean Smith. So he did actually start off pretty well as well during his career, and there was actually a lot of optimism and everything that came along. But then the balloon sort of blew away, towards March last year that we noticed that, they started performing bad, and then it went really bad. How do you see Gerrard's tactics coming along? He wanted to actually play a fast-paced, intense football there. To be honest, he did start along that path sometime last year, in which were actually showing dividends. And he did get whom he want as well, in terms of high-profile signings like Coutinho, amongst others. So how do you see his philosophy and things coming along, on the pitch?
It's a tough one to say, really. Like you say, when he first came in, there was the sort of usual manager bounce that you get, and a sort of a reasonably feel good around the place. But he's trying to sort of model himself on the way Klopp plays at Liverpool, or this is how he was with the bombing the fullbacks, trying to bomb forward. But that's really not working for us. We've got, our team basically isn't good enough to just carry 2 fullbacks trying to fly up the wing. Every time, something doesn't come off, 9 times out of 10, it ends up in a goal for the other team. Especially, I'll tell you where it first started was the Arsenal game last year at the Emirates. We really went for it that day, but we just kept getting caught out in behind. And ever since then, we've really been just disjointed. And I'm not really sure what his tactics are, and I'm not even sure he does, to be honest. We lost his coach Michael Beale in the summer. Them two sort of were very they were almost like dual managers. That's what the players were saying. That's how the level of impact that Beale had on the club. So obviously we've lost him in the summer to QPR, and now we've got a new coach in Neil Critchley that's only just come in, and obviously the players are only just getting to know him. But at the moment, as far as style goes, I'm really not sure anyone knows what's going on. If there's a message out to the players, I don't think it's sinking in with them, because we look all over the place, really.
Okay, and from his perspective, obviously from Gerrard's perspective, he's actually starting to feel worried from the press conferences that he's giving out. How do you actually see the confidence among the fans that he can actually pull this away and then sort of take this club forward from where it is at the moment?
I don't know, because the thing is, everyone wants him to succeed. We all want to have a good side, but at the moment, it's not as if we're just losing games. We got rolled over at Bournemouth comfortably. We just watched them getting beat 9-0 on Saturday, so that says a lot. We went to Crystal Palace, got good stuff in there as well. The only game we won was the Everton game, and we were okay in that game. It wasn't bad, but we tried our best to throw that one away at the end as well. So Gerrard's, it's obviously, you can hear it, he's getting quite tetchy now with the media. in the interviews, sometimes I think he comes across a little bit arrogant. I mean, we all know what Steven Gerrard, the player, did, but I'm not sure he's got enough credit in the bank as a manager yet to sort of, the way he's talking is as if, you know, he's won everything and he's doing Villa a favour by coming there. And I don't know, I'm not overly enamoured with the way he's coming across at the moment. I mean, there's still plenty of time, but, well, you say there's plenty of time, maybe there's not, because we've invested a lot of money. He's had a lot of money himself. The wage bill now apparently is the 7th highest in the league, and we're absolutely nowhere to be seen. So, yeah, not so good, mate.
Yeah, no, you drew parallelisms with Everton and brought in Lampard there, because I mean, to be honest, you know, if I look at the table and then if I look at the possible managers who might actually get the boot, I mean, Gerrard is right up there, along with Lampard. And I see them, I mean, until or unless, you know, results change in your favor, I don't see this being continuing for a long time. Do you sort of have the same feeling as well, you know, between Lampard and Gerrard, that, you know, it's just a matter of time before one of them gets sacked, you know, until the results don't improve?
Well, maybe, but the problem is we've sort of, Gerrard is kind of Christian Perslow's man. This was his appointment, and he went all out to get him. You know, he's sacked Dean Smith, he's made the beeline for Gerrard, and he's kind of sold us the vision and the dream. And, you know, and we've most of the signings we've made, the first thing they said is, we're coming to Aston Villa because we want to play for Steven Gerrard. You know, he's only been in the door 10 months. And if we was to sack him now, you wonder what that's going to do to the likes of Coutinho and Dina and Kamara. These are players that Gerrard has literally been to their houses to convince them to come and join.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure we'll be trying to sack him just yet. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a results business, isn't it? And, I think everyone would have expected us to be doing a little bit better than what we are. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I were to look at it as a neutral, obviously you've got a lot of, brilliant players out there. It's just, every time when I see Villa play, right, you know, I see this team has got a lot of quality, and I was just scratching my head, especially during the West Ham game, to see why isn't this team, you know, not being creative enough to score a goal at their home. You know, it's not like they're playing away game with some hostile fans and all those sort of things. Right. That's the general thought around, you know, when you look at the club from the outside as a neutral. But then I'm hoping still this team has got a lot of quality, and it's just a matter of time before they sort of gel in together. Now, taking all those along to this game, you know, obviously it's an away game, it's at the Emirates. And like you said, you know, last time was the highest confidence you probably would have had under Gerrard. You were coming along, and the Arsenal team that day, even personally for me, I wouldn't have really expected such a performance, you know, from the Gunners as such. You know, they literally blew Villa apart. How do you see this year Arsenal different to the one that you faced at the Emirates last year?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's night and day now from the last time I chatted to you guys. We were having a bit of a laugh, weren't we, at Arsenal's expense, all of us, just, you know. But yeah, you know, who's laughing now? And it's you boys, because you've stuck with Arteta, and he's, you know, they were all saying, believe in the process. And, you know, and fair play to him. He's turned it around really well, hasn't he? I mean, I think the best thing you've ever done, right, was when they started getting rid of the Aubameyangs, get him out the door, didn't they? Who else? There was another one you had a problem with, wasn't there? That they got rid of?
Ozil. We've got problems with quite a lot.
Yeah, but I think now them egos have sort of been shut out of the door at Arsenal, and you know, you've got players there now that want to play for Arsenal. I mean, Aaron Ramsdale, I mean, I didn't think he was that good of a goalie, but you know, completely wrong there. He looks great now in an Arsenal shirt. You know, he looks like a sort of a future captain there for me. You know, you got Odegaard looking really good as well. You know, you've just signed
Jesus and Zinchenko.
Jesus looks brilliant. It looks like it's a perfect match now, doesn't it? And obviously Zinchenko, again, I'm very surprised that City let him go. But yeah, Arsenal look great. I mean, 4 out of 4, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I think you were bang on right. Even we had our doubts about how Arteta is going to take, but then he had a clear plan. We've been watching All or Nothing for these days, so we get a thing or two in terms of what was going on behind the scenes. And once we pulled out the bad beats out, the results are starting to pay. The team is starting to gel along. And sort of feels like there is. I mean, of course, I'm telling you all this, but there is a long way to go. We all know how teams have started up front, but then gone on to do miserably bad, towards the end. But still, there is still a long way to go. From at least what we've seen so far, there's of course a lot of optimism, and then things which could potentially get better, and we may come along nicely towards the top four. That still should be the aim, I would say. If I were to be an Arsenal fan, the title challenges and all those sort of things is a bit over the top. I would, I don't think we are right up there, and there are still games which could cause an upset or two. And talking about that, actually, I mean, the Fulham game was quite a presenting opportunity, because before the game it was built to be in one-sider, with Arsenal being so dominant and all those sort of things. They were actually there was a huge confidence in the fans that we would just blow Fulham apart, but that didn't quite happen. Fulham did give us quite a bit of a hard time. They held on well during the first half, and then they pounced on the opportunity to score a goal and create an opening in the second one. Do you see such a performance from this Villa team who's visiting Emirates tomorrow?
Well, I watched the game Saturday as well, and Fulham look a different side this year, don't they? From the previous couple of sides that have been up and got relegated straight away. Mitrovic suddenly looks the part, doesn't he? Finally, I think he's going to score a lot of goals for Fulham this year. But as for us, I'd love to sit here and say I'm optimistic, but from what I've seen so far, I really can't, because we've been so poor in the 2 away games. And as I said, Bournemouth bottom of the league already now. Palace not a bad side, to be fair, but we're running into an informed side in Arsenal, and I'm really not sure. I think I'd just be happy to get out of there without getting an absolute tonking, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, if I were to be saying this as an Arsenal fan, I would always say that with a cautious optimism, I would say, because even the fact that we are seeing results and all those sort of things still doesn't make me think that every game is sort of a blowaway or something. We still have to be mindful, and we still have to be grinding out when things doesn't work our way, which exactly was what summed up during the Fulham game, where we came from a goal down. I wouldn't have really said we would have done that last year, because obviously we didn't really have any key personnel to sort of make those changes. But then with obviously you mentioned about Zinchenko and when Jesus, the impact that they have had is massive. Seriously, right from the word go, right from the time that they were signed in, they pretty much came on, and then they were they've been able to take this whole team by storm, I should say. And Jesus, look at the pressing that he's doing. He wouldn't really stop for even a second. It's a sort of the same impact that Alexis Sanchez had, when he was playing for Arsenal. And I mean, it's just hoping for good things to come. Hopefully, if he stays.
I like the look of Saliba as well.
Oh yeah, Saliba Tequila, yes.
I love the song. I love the song they're singing through. It's fantastic. Even I'm singing it, and I don't support them.
That's the thing. I think a few days back I saw a tweet from a West Ham fan. He was actually showing clipages of Zinchenko, supporting the team from the sidelines. Even the fact that he was not in the squad, he was running along the pitch, and then when Gabriel when Gabriel scored the second goal, he was there running alongside the pitch to support with the boys. And this is the general theme that we see, with non-Arsenal fans. They sort of seem to like this team. It's more likable for them, and possibly, they're getting along. Even the fact that they don't really support the team, as in like they're other supporters, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, coming to this game, right? Who do you see from Villa? I mean, what would be your potential 11 be if you were to, predict for one?
Well, say like yesterday, we wasn't terrible yesterday, but we really struggled to sort of break down West Ham. Problem Villa have, we're very small as a side, like a small team, not physically strong, and we tending to get bullied out of too many games, and that for me is a really big issue. We need some physicality in the side, but at the moment we don't have that. So I could imagine that the team won't be too far different from yesterday. You normally find we normally only play one up front in the away games and two up front at home, so you could probably expect Danny Ings to go back to the bench, because Watkins is more of a all-round sort of striker. He can do the graft. He can do the graft up front by himself. I'd expect to see Buendia in for Coutinho because he pulled up with a hamstring injury. But otherwise, yeah, generally unchanged, I'd imagine.
How is Kamara settling in?
He looks like a good player. Again, the only problem I've got, I thought he was supposed to be this bruising midfielder that I've just saying we needed. To look at him, he's quite slight himself. He's quite, he hasn't got much weight on him, but he's looking all right. He's a tidy player. He's got a nice range of pass, and he does break up play quite well. But I think he needs another player in there with him, another new midfielder. A real size, a physical presence. But he's doing all right. And he's only 22. I think he will be a good player in in the future for us.
No. I mean, I've watched him play in the past, and I was, for one, very excited when he came along. I still feel, I mean, just like how you said, there's a lot of good things. He's still settling into the league, so which is fair enough. Now, this game being, of course, the last game before the end of the transfer window, how do you actually look at, I mean, would this game reflect in terms of what you really require at the transfer window, or is your plan clear, cut out, as in like, what the manager would want to fill in, and then you would be obviously going to get them during the, before the end of the window?
Well, I mean, we've done the majority of our business right at the start, and it all looks set up to be a good season. I mean, we'd signed Coutinho on a permanent, literally the day of the season finished last year. We then signed Diego Carlos from Seville for like 26 million. 2 games in, and he's now out for the season with an Achilles injury, which is a real blow to us. So there straight away, there's probably a centre half we need. Where else did we get? Obviously signed Kamara on a free transfer, which looked great. I think it will be great business. He's got to be a 30-40 million pound player, I'd say.
Yeah.
And we've got him in on a free. We signed Robin Olsen, who we had last year on loan. He's now the backup goalie. All I would say was what I thought we would have needed was another midfielder, like I just said, an enforcer type. And maybe, and a new centre back really to sort of cover the loss of Diego Carlos.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask, there is actually a possibility that El Ghazi might be going to Ajax with their transfer of Anthony. Do you think you would probably need a winger as well to cover along once Ghazi leaves?
Well, no, not really, because Gerrard, as I said before, he plays with sort of attacking fullbacks rather than wingers. So we're already on the bench. Like, we've already let Traore go to Turkey. Like El Ghazi's going. We've got Leon Bailey, who's really he's the option from the bench to go on the wings. Obviously, there's Coutinho, Buendia. So we're quite stocked up in that area. Watkins can also play out there himself. So, but then again, we were trying to get Ismail Assar the other week. So maybe he is looking for a winger, but I thought that was an odd move myself, and I don't know whether he's got any more in mind.
I thought the move broke down, actually.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a surprise, because I was chatting with another Villa fan, and then he was very excited as well. At the same time, he was he was sort of realistic to say that the deal wouldn't happen, which was strange, because I can't believe that, I mean, he had his personal terms which Villa couldn't match for a championship.
Well, I think they'd agreed. I think they'd agreed a deal, and then right at the end, his agent has then tried to do us for more money in the wages, and Gerrard's decided to walk away at that stage.
Right.
I mean, my wife's a season ticket holder at Watford, and she sees Sarr every week, and I obviously watch a lot of them as well. And I he's not bad, but he's not the sort of player we need. He's another sort of 1 in 5, 1 in 6 player who looks good on his day, but when the going gets tough, nowhere to be seen, and we've got enough of those already.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's more likely that you'd end up in Palace by the looks of it, but we don't know. I mean, he's been too far under the radar that we should say now, so we don't know what's likely to happen. Now, looking at this Arsenal team, who do you see would be the key danger man from Arsenal?
That's a good question. As I say, Jesus has started the season very well, so you're always going to be wary of him. He used to do quite well against us when he was at City. I think you've got danger everywhere at the moment. When a team's got the confidence that Arsenal have at the moment, I mean, your defenders are scoring a few goals, aren't they? Like Gabriel, Saliba, I've seen have scored. We're quite susceptible from set pieces as well. So I'd say, it's more who are we not worried about than who we are.
Nah. See, I mean, the goals are coming in from everywhere. To be honest, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I see Odegaard has taken up the game really well, especially I look at the Leicester game that we played like 2 games before, and there wasn't there was a clear shot on goal that he had, and he passed it to someone else. I can't remember. But the fans were really, ruining the fact that he didn't shoot at that point in time. But then immediately after that, the next game against Bournemouth and obviously against Fulham, that he was able to, immediately put on his scoring boots and then, sort of slot in. So I mean, I've been really excited the way that he's putting along, the displays. Obviously, you mentioned about Saliba. I had a sort of a nervous feeling about Gabriel, before the Fulham game. There was actually an error in him. Thankfully, he actually, lifted up his head and then sort of made the right amends by scoring as well along, which was sort of redemption by itself. So, but Jesus, yes, Jesus is a menace. It would be really difficult, to sort of holding off. And Martinelli, you didn't probably mention him.
Yeah, he's playing well as well, isn't he?
With these two coming along in the left wing, it's sort of been overshadowing what Saka is doing on the right. It feels like he's doing pretty little, but then he's as well pulling his socks off. So, I mean, you're right probably in mentioning that, you got to be wary of the whole Arsenal front line because, anyone could cut in at any point and sort of attack. Now, if I were to say the players that I would really look for in Villa, I mean, obviously I love Jacob Ramsdale. Seriously, Matt, you've got a awesome talent there. I mean, I can't wait for a day when he probably would make his bigger move to a Champions League club or somewhere. If Villa doesn't actually reach to that heights, this is an amazing player. Something I would really love at Arsenal if I were to say secretly. But apart from him, definitely, I feel your front line would be Biondia and Bailey would both be starting together, along with Watkins. Now, talking about McGinn, he's as well a good player, but I mean, I feel like he's sort of been bring not putting up displays that he used to do before. You sort of having do you sort of feel that he's reaching a sort of a plateau, or probably slightly on the decline in terms of what he was doing before to what he's doing now?
Yeah, he's getting a fair bit of flack at the moment. McGinn, obviously, he's been made captain after Gerrard stripped the captaincy of Tyrone Mings. I don't know whether the captaincy is too big for McGinn, but the thing is, we bought him in, 5-6 years ago now, John McGinn, for like 2.5 million. Yeah. For me, he's done what he's done his bit for Villa, I'd say. He's come up from the Championship. He's managed to keep us up. He's managed to stabilise us. But now the club is all geared to be going up in an upward trajectory. And I'd say really you've got to be looking on improving on McGinn's position.
Yeah.
You know, he tries, he doesn't, it's not a lack of effort. It's just, I think this is the level that John McGinn is. He's not bad, but you need more consistency for me. He's another one that can do it 1 in every 4, every 5 games, but that's not good enough if you want to get further up the league.
Yeah. Okay. Now we've spoken all of these, but now it's a last bit of a thing. I would want to get your predictions, if you may try.
What, score prediction for the game?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to come on here and sort of be a bit cocky in that, but I've not got much to shout about at the moment, and I can't see it getting any better. We're playing you guys, and then we've got Man City on Saturday. So
I know. Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Yeah, I'll say I reckon you'll beat us. I reckon it'll be 2-0. I'll go.
Okay, 2-0 to the Arsenal. Even as an Arsenal fan, I don't feel really confident that we would keep a clean sheet. I mean, seriously, I can't believe that how you can so. I still feel we've got an error in us or a goal that we would concede.
You've had too much over the last few years, isn't it? As you're not quite ready to relax yet.
Seriously. I mean, trust me, the old Arsenal fan is still in me. So
I can hear it. Yeah.
Even though we can see all this optimism and all those sort of things, we still don't believe. And many of our fans, I mean, only the or uber optimistic ones say, we're going to be having a clean sheet and this defense is the best one in the world and all those sort of things. So, but I'm not really going to go that far. I feel we would concede a goal, but like similar to last time, I see a 3-1 score line. I mean, it's really interesting to see how how Villa turn up that day. If they're going to be doing a Fulham, then it's going to be a long day for us, I feel. But if you guys open up, then it's sort of floodgates, I would say. I mean, just dump goals in. It depends upon how creative Gerrard wants to be. If he wants to be, if he wants to just set up the team for a draw and then sort of grind out a result, then possibly it's going to be a tough game, is what I could think of. But yeah, I mean, it would be really up to see how Gerrard puts up its team and then what sort of a formation and tactics that he chooses to do on that day. But yeah, if you don't have any further questions, then we can try and wrap it along. Anything that you may want to add or talk about?
No, I don't think so. So I wish I could have come on today, mate, and been a bit more positive for you. But it's been such a poor start for us. I don't know. I see good players on our pitch. I see talent. I see a lot of money being spent, but it's just something's not right. Something's not right in the club. Everyone seems to be able to feel it.
Honestly, Villa is probably one of the oldest clubs, and really, I mean, except for this game, I would say, I really want you guys to succeed and then, sort of do better things on the pitch there. But yeah, I mean, I hope you pick your form up from Saturday,
Yeah.
City. So.
Looking like a long season.
Yeah, no, nice talking to you as always, Gerrard. It was a pretty good chat. And yeah, no, hope for better things to come for both of us.
Okay, mate. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers, Bob. All the best, mate.
Yes, thank you.